Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today is the final tutorial, I believe, for how I am doing my Nickelodeon Hexagon blanket. So I will insert a picture here of the side of my Nickelodeon Hexagon blanket. And you can see what we're going to be doing today is filling in the half hexagons that are made from putting our rows of hexagons together. So if you decided to put these together in a configuration like I did for the tutorial where we made a grandmother's flower garden motif, you will have a whole different combination of ways you can finish that off, either using hexagons, half hexagons, and everything else. But if you're doing what I did for the Nickelodeon blanket, which is piecing these together in strips, making a half hexagon hole, and then these deckled ripple edges, this is how we're going to straighten out this side. You don't have to. You can leave the half hexagon side as is. This is just if you want a straight edge. For the Nickelodeon blanket, this side makes up the long sides of my blanket, whereas the ripple edge makes up the short sides of my blanket. So I did want to fill in these half hexagons for my blanket. Now, in 2 weeks or so, I will have a final video that will just be compiling all of these tutorials together into one long video. Parts are perfectly fine if you want to use this as the tutorial, but I did want to have one video where everything is combined together in one place, as well as in the tutorials playlist. So the other thing I want to caveat this with, if you've not started a blanket or anything and you're just coming into this, for me, this is not a problem. For you, aesthetically, it may be a problem. I worked the hexagons in the round all in one direction. For the half hexagons, we are going to be working backwards and forwards in the hexagon pattern. If that bothers you, make your hexagons by going backwards and forwards instead of working in the round. Use the same base 2 sequence, your same counts and everything. Just instead of chaining up and working in the same direction, you will chain up, turn, and work back using the exact same stitch pattern. But it does not bother me, especially since this is such a small area, to do this section backwards and forwards and this section in the round. So let's get crack-a-lackin' here. We will do 2 of these here on camera. You can speed this up or slow this down as needed. As with the hexagon tutorial, you will need to know how to chain, slip stitch, double crochet, and also I would recommend not only using this tutorial to join in that half hexagon, but also the joining of the hexagon tutorial just to understand some of the things that I will be talking about here. So we are going to start with a chain 3 or magic loop, whichever you prefer. As I said, with the hexagon tutorial, this is just to give you a base idea. This isn't, hard and fast rules. You can obviously do these using, single crochets, half double crochets, double crochets, triple crochets, whatever you prefer. But for my blankets, I am using a double crochet. So we are going to create 3 pie wedges. So we need to double crochet twice into our loop, chain 2, double crochet twice into the loop, chain 2, double crochet twice in the loop. I will warn you guys, the cats are out on their catio. I am obviously, if you've been here before, at my kitchen table again. If they start going banana pants, I might have to pause the video. But all right, so we have 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, starts to the wedge. So we're going to chain 1, turn. We're going to work 2 double crochets into the first stitch, because we will need to keep the increasing at the same rate as we had in our original hexagons. So we need to double crochet in the next stitch and then double crochet into the chain 2 space, chain 2, double crochet into the chain 2 space, and then for the center section, we're just going to work those 2 stitches and into the double crochet or chain 2 space. Woohoo! Chain 2. Again, I am working with Premier Basic yarn. This is the color, I can't read it from here. Pecan. Once again, it's just what I had on hand, not any particular reason. So we're going to double crochet again in the chain 2 space, double crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 double crochets into the last stitch of the 3rd pie wedge. For this sample, we did 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So we need to do 1 more round increasing on its own. So chain 1, double crochet twice in the first stitch. Since we've lost the chain 2 space we used to create those increases, we have to do it in that first stitch now. So we got 2. We're going to work into the next 2 stitches. Or 3 stitches, I mean. Chain 2, double crochet in the chain 2 space. And now we're going to double crochet across these 4. 1, 2. And then double crochet into the chain 2 space, chain 2, double crochet into the chain 2 space. We're going to double crochet in each stitch until the last stitch. And then we're going to double crochet twice into the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn. So this is what we have. And you can see we have our little chain 2 spaces. And this is just going to inset now directly in here. So let me turn my blanket sample around. I'll take a sip of my iced coffee here. After I filmed the tutorial, by the way, for the join and everything, I looked at my final flower motif and was like, that's 100% Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. And just about died laughing. Like, part of me wants to come back and do like black stitch work on it, but it's going to go in a larger project eventually. And I don't want to do that, but at the same time, I kind of want to. All right. So for row 4, we will be joining in this space. So we've chained 1. We're going to insert our hook into our first corner we're joining into, chain 1. So just like how we joined the hexagons in. We still need to increase on this row, so we're going to double crochet into the first stitch, slip into the adjacent stitch, double crochet again into the first stitch. Take your hook out, insert it into the adjacent hook or adjacent stitch, put the loop back on your hook and draw it through. And now this is exactly like how we joined the hexagons. To begin with, we're going to double crochet in our stitch and take our hook out, put it into the adjacent stitch, put our loop back on our hook and slide it on through. Double crochet, slip into the adjacent stitch there, draw it through. Double crochet, slip through the adjacent, draw it through. Double crochet, slip through the adjacent stitch, draw it through. We're going to, oh, I got one more, double crochet into the chain 2 space, slip into the adjacent stitch, draw it through. Okay, so now we are to the triad corner. And like I said, for joining the hexagons, we are going to chain 1. We are going to come to the next hexagon we're going to work into, up through the one we've already been adding onto. We want to draw this through and create a join that goes across as many points as possible. So we want that join to go, the yarn to be drawn through the purple and through the blue in this case, just to create added support at that triad join. Draw it through in chain 1, double crochet in the chain 2 space, and now we're going to be working into the adjacent stitches on the next hexagon. So same thing, we're going to double crochet into our stitch, slip into the adjacent stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, take our hook out, put it into the adjacent stitch, put the loop back on our hook, and draw it through. This is very intuitive if you accept that these half pieces are going to be slightly different than the primary hexagons. And part of the reason why it doesn't bother me, especially for something like this, like the Nickelodeon blanket, it's going to be knocked around and loved and hopefully, you know, treated roughly over the next 10 years. This isn't meant for me. The blanket I'm making, it is not meant to be an heirloom. It is meant to be, you know, a well-used project. So once again, we're in the corner stitch here. So, you know, having that minor difference of the back and forth versus in the round, I mean, visually, it picks up more on camera than it does in person. And to me, visually, it's just not different enough to be a problem. But like I said, if it is a problem, just work your hexagons back and forth instead of working them in the round like I did. All right, so we're going to insert our hook through the corner of the pink, bring it up through the corner of the blue, draw our chain 1 loop through, chain 1, and now we're going to double crochet into this round corner piece and slip it into the adjacent stitch here. I can now hear my crow pack. I've got a fairly sizable murder of crows that hang out in my backyard, generally in the morning. It's kind of late in the day for them to be in my yard. But something has disturbed them. We've also had a fox that's been spending a lot of time in our backyard recently. So we're back to the last stitch. We're going to double crochet into that last stitch, draw through, second double crochet in that last stitch, draw through, chain one, and we're going to loop it through that corner stitch, just like we have with the others. So we'll cut my yarn, draw it through. I can rotate my work here so you get a slightly better angle on it there. So again, we'll do the same thing to fill in this half hexagon. For me, I'm going to chain 3, slip stitch to make the loop, chain 1, double crochet twice, chain 2, double crochet twice, chain 2, double crochet twice, chain 1, and turn. 2 double crochets in the first stitch to maintain our base 2. I did not double crochet twice in the first stitch. And this is why you are patient with yourself. My fingers already think they know what they're doing after making 9 million hexagons in the last couple months. All right, so we're on row 2, so we should have 4 double crochets, chain 2, 1 double crochet in the chain 2, 1 in each of the next 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 1 in the corner. That brings us up to 4 in our center pie wedge, 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in the chain 2, double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the last stitch, 1 and 2, chain 1 and turn. So that is row 2. 2 double crochets in the first stitch, 1, 2. This is row 3, so this pie wedge should have 6 stitches. We're going to double crochet our way across. And then 1 double crochet in the chain 2 space. Don't forget, if I'm crocheting too fast or going too fast, you can slow the video down or speed it up depending on what you need. Double crochet in the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in the chain 2 space. That gives me 6 double crochets, chain 2, double crochet in the chain 2 space, double crochet to the last stitch, 1, and then we have 2 in the last stitch, which gives us 6 stitches, 2, 4, and 6, chain 1. Now we're getting ready to start row 4 here. We're inserting our new piece in like this. So we are going to get that tail out of our way, insert our hook into the first corner here, slip our chain one through, chain one again, double crochet into the first stitch, slip into the adjacent stitch, double crochet a second time into your first stitch because we need to maintain that increase. And now we're going to work down as normal, or as for a whole hexagon. It is definitely a challenge crocheting through the camera sometimes. I have zero depth perception when I'm filming a tutorial. And this is a fairly long time straight to crochet through a camera, so I'm filming this in one straight shot because that's all I've got time to do. All right, we're to the corner here, so we're gonna double crochet into the chain two space, slip into the adjacent stitch, chain one, and we're gonna come and go in to the teal, up through the pink, grab our loop, draw the chain one loop through, chain one, double crochet in our chain two space, slip into our adjacent stitch. So I've gotten messages from a number of you guys who have started projects using these tutorials already. How are you guys enjoying it so far? I know one person had said they're making a giant hexagon blanket, and one said they want to do something similar to the Nickelodeon blanket that I'm working on. And another one said she got inspired by the quilt designs I showed in the join video. So I'm just wondering what you guys are working on or what you're planning on making. Because to me, these are a lot of fun. I'm now on a whole hexagon kick. To be fair, once I'm done with today's tutorial, I'm going to rip off this extra section I put on here and repurpose these hexagons into another flower garden block. And this will be one of the on-the-go perpetual scrap gans that I have for donation or gifting. Chain one, go in through the aqua, up through the teal, grab our loop and draw it through, chain one, double crochet, join as if we're a standard hexagon until we get to the last brown stitch or half hexy stitch. Not everybody's half hexy is going to be pecan brown. And once again, you can do these in any weight yarn. You can do these in any stitch you want. This isn't the only way to do it. I do really like the base two though. The base two for the solid granny definitely gives you a good hexagon base, especially if you wanted to, you know, add like flowers or anything to the center of your hexagon and stuff. And it's easy to spot and see what you actually have going on. Okay, we're going to double crochet into the last stitch here, slip into the adjacent stitch. Once again, double crochet into the last stitch. We're going to slip into the last stitch, chain one, and bring it through. and draw through our end there. So that is what we have. Let me flip this piece back around here so you get a better look at how that is here. Obviously, I still have all my ends, but that is what it looks like. And like I said, I mean, really, you just don't see that much of a difference. And like I said, in person, it's even more imperceptible. Like, if you didn't spend all the time making the blanket, you would never see the difference between these two. No non-crocheter is ever going to spot that difference, I don't think. A fellow crocheter might spot that, but even then they'd probably be like, oh yeah, well that makes sense. It's easier to work these back and forth and it's easier to work these in the round. But like I said, if this slight difference between the back and forth and then the round is going to bother you, just work the hexagons back and forth instead of in the round like I did. I just think in the round is cleaner and easier, especially as this has been a walking project for me, not a, sit down and work on it project. This is my on the go project, quite literally. So that is how you square up the edge on the hexagon blanket. Like I said, for the Nickelodeon blanket, I am leaving my decal edge down here. I'm not squaring up the short side. I just squared up my long edge. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Questions, comments, concerns. I do really genuinely want to know what you are making using this tutorial. What are your plans? Like I said, with the Nickelodeon blanket, I just joined strips and squared them off. For my next one that I'm planning, I'm doing a grandmother's flower garden with the scraps. And this is the first flower motif. See if I can get some extension here. Nope, that's as far as we go. So this motif here is actually my first motif. And I'm going to repurpose these three into another flower motif. And then I actually have some white speckled yarn. And I also have some green yarn. And I was thinking about doing 2 green hexagons to border these to look like leaves, and the rest in white, the white speckled, to join them. So like all of my traditionally girly colors or more pastel-y colors and stuff, I think will go into this blanket. And the only neutral I will use will be the white. Everything else will be a more dynamic color. And then I do have plans for a different grandmother's flower garden where I'm going to do one color for all the centers. Each flower will be one color. And then I'm thinking about even doing those 2 flower rings out. So one color for ring 1, one color for ring 2. And then maybe joining it with a different color, but I haven't decided yet. But this will be my scrap project for now. And I think I have a little girl in mind for this blanket when it's done, but it may take me 2 years to finish it. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Please take care of yourselves. Bye, you guys.